Welcome to the Faith, Love, and Dreams podcast, a community of couples dedicated in every stage of their relationship to building healthy, strong, loving, and supportive foundations together. We're your hosts,
Michael
and Tiffany Melvin. Join us as we discuss all things relationship. So if you're courting, engaged, married, or preparing for when you get there, this is the place for you.
Hey, how y'all doing? You are watching and listening to
The
Faith, Love, and Dreams, Foundation Building Together
podcast and YouTube episode.
And we are on episode 7. Yeah, we just
already.
did 6. You're on 7.
Wow. So, episode 7.
Episode 7, the perfect spouse. How many of us have them? Perfect spouse. Ones we can depend on. The perfect spouse. How many of us have them?
The perfect spouse. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, we're having a good time. You see me crazy. Welcome. I'm Michael Melvin.
I forgot to do this.
Oh, she forgot. She's dancing and stuff. All right. Once again, I'm Michael Melvin.
And I'm Tiffany Melvin.
And then you're listening and watching Faith, Love, and Dreams, the podcast.
And the YouTube channel, hopefully.
Yes. Well, that's why I said you're watching, but you know.
Oh, my bad.
See, wives gotta correct you. Thus is why we're doing our episode today on the perfect spouse. You see how that worked, how that works out?
So we're talking about the perfect spouse.
Yeah.
How many of us have them?
Expectations.
Clearly, I'm not the perfect spouse. I'm just going to say
I'm
that.
not perfect either. We probably argued a few times. We didn't argue today. We really didn't get into it today.
We're arguing before we do the podcast.
About the podcast.
About the podcast.
You're going to do this. You're going to do this. No, I'm trying to do this. No, this is how it's going to be. Well, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Little things about it. Okay, so we both have very strong personalities. And
I'm going to say, Ari, we discuss. We deeply, heavily discuss.
Deep discussions that might be met with a couple of women.
Look here, woman.
Nah. Who you talking to? Like kind of that. But it
I'm
all
a grown
comes
man.
Because we're not perfect. And your spouse isn't going to be perfect. You're not perfect either, just in case no one ever told you. But the perfect spouse. We just want to kind of talk about expectations because just because somebody isn't the perfect spouse doesn't necessarily mean that they're not giving you their very best. And I think in everything, that's all you can ask for is that you give your very best, correct? Yeah.
I think I'm going to let you talk, ladies first.
Okay, so.
While I sip my tea.
Anyway, the very best. So that's all I ask for is that you give me your very best in anything and everything that you do as my spouse. And that happens sometimes. And sometimes when he's not giving me his very best, I have to call him out on it.
I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. That's how I feel sometimes. Right there, man. Look.
Sometimes,
just once.
Sometimes it's not good enough, okay? But if he is giving, his very best and it still doesn't go right, then I love him.
Yeah, I still love her. I still like her, We laugh together. After we make the mistakes, we still have some, crack me up moments.
That's actually the one thing that I told Michael that I knew that he was the one because if you know me, I'm very sweet, very kind, very loving, very supportive. But I am a take no prisoners type of woman when you get into it with me. Okay?
That too.
Because I'm like, oh, you really taking my kindness? I take no prisoners. But for him, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it.
She's holding my hand.
I couldn't do that. I take no prisoners attitude with him. And it was just something about, I'm not going to do that with him. That led me to know that was one of the reasons why I knew he was the one. But anyway, we want to just talk about how people expect their spouses to be perfect. And that's just crazy.
I'm going to tell you why. Why? Or did you say your part yet? If you haven't, I'm going to let you say
part.
That was your part? All right. So I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why we watch TV.
Oh, yeah.
We watch movies. Yeah. And it's so funny. I have a short film. And at the end of the short film, the girlfriend tells her, we didn't make it yet. We're shooting it. But she tells her friend at the end of it, you think this is TV in the movies, like you get the guy at the end of the movie. It don't work like that. It's real life. Yeah. And that's the problem is People forget that this is real life.
Real
We
life.
walk into relationships hoping that it looks like something we've imagined
In our mind.
in our
yeah.
minds, and that we've misled ourselves by looking at other people's relationships as just as well. People be like, why can't we be like them? Look, we talk, we don't know what goes on behind closed
That's
doors
true.
of their house. I'm not trying to be like anybody. I'm inspired, but we gonna be us at the
I've
end of the
learned
day.
that if you listen to one of our previous podcasts, I talk about how I kind of wanted to be like somebody when I was in high school, like just the relationship they had, and found out that that relationship was
Not perfect.
not perfect, and it was abusive. So yeah, don't covet anyone else's relationship.
Right. And TV jacked us up.
Right.
We thinking you can aspire to be those things and be inspired by them, but you don't. You read this novel, yeah. This is I want a man to treat me like that. That man is made up for that book or made up for that movie. He is bits and pieces of other men.
Right.
That artist or creator has made, and we have expectations sometimes that are above and beyond that person, or they just haven't met their full potential yet to get there. And so we putting things. My wife is a superwoman, but she ain't superwoman.
Right.
You know, and that's the reality about it
And I'm
all.
not trying to be superwoman. I think that used to be the, I'm going to say quote unquote black woman's term sometimes about being superwoman or anybody else's term. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be tired and wore out and fighting all the time and doing all this and going out there saving the world all the time. Can I be saved? Can I rest? Can I sleep? Can I eat? Can I drink? I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be superwoman. I'm Tiffany.
Nah, and then. And
Tiring.
even Superman, Superwoman got weaknesses. It got kryptonite. They got magic. They got weakness. I'm a comic book person. Yeah. They have weaknesses. And the problem is they're aliens, but we're human beings.
Right.
And human beings are flawed. They make mistakes. And we, unfortunately, in the dating aspect of life or the courting, and even some marriages, people are with somebody for so long and they start putting in their mind they can get somebody better. They've been jamming to that Beyonce song, to the left, and they ready to get rid of somebody. I heard that before.
Let me upgrade you.
Yeah, and you're supposed to give advantage and not take advantage of one another. And so in having high expectations, you should have expectations, but after you've both discussed those expectations and come to an agreement. That's why last podcast we were talking about mutual understanding.
But also recognize when someone is actually doing their best. Their best, not their best according to your expectations.
And standards.
You're going to be, when you have expectations, you're setting yourself up to be let down. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable, and it doesn't make your spouse a bad person or anything like that. And it actually is an area to open up a conversation. I remember just a certain conversation for me, just as a wife. I'm gonna go back to how do you know that they know how to be a wife or a husband? Just because someone gets married doesn't necessarily mean that they know all of the ins and outs of what you expect from them. Even though you have those conversations in the beginning, they're still growing into their role. I mean, a wife and a husband is still a role that you have to kind of
a new responsibility. Yeah. It's like you started a new job and you came with some skill sets, but you were promoted like into a position that you ain't have before. You got a year to get together. You're building to it. But the reality about even marriage is, you go about it day by day. It really is a day by day thing. It's not
life
overnight.
Happens. You're gonna come up upon some things that's gonna happen in your life, no matter how great of a spouse you have, how much prepared you are. There could be things that happen in life that you just have no control over, and it's just gonna happen. So no one is perfect, and a lot of times we have expectations of other people.
Right.
That we do not have of ourselves. So it's easy to say, this person doesn't know this, they didn't do that, when you may know it. So if you're the spouse that knows something that your spouse doesn't know, then why are you mad that they don't know it? If you know it, then they should know it. That's
And
just
you know what?
the opportunity to
I
teach
think,
them.
and I equate every relationship you'll have, whether it's friendships, family, business relationship, and marital relationships, as a relationship the same way. And I'll put it like this: we tend to have higher expectations for other people and less compassion and empathy for them. And we're like, we're going to hold you to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And to whose standard are you holding them to when you haven't even said this is the standard? It's like me, I'm a teacher. And people always talk about standardized tests. I don't agree with standardized tests. It's me personally. And the reason I don't agree with them is to whose standard? You would have to assure that every student and every person around the world is getting the exact same education and knowledge to meet what we call a standard.
Right.
That's how I look at things. So I can't assure that she understands me or meets the standard of my household that I grew up in, because we grew up in two different households, and we are also forging our own household.
Right.
And so we have to now talk about, I mean, come on, people have problems with stacking the dishes the same way, washing clothes the same way, ironing clothes the same way. People have problems cooking food the same way. You know, we not, because we weren't raised the same. How she make gumbo might not be how I make gumbo, because first of all, I don't eat pork or beef. You know what I'm saying?
I don't eat pork or beef either.
But you know, so I'm like, all seafood. Just put some crab legs up in that joke, some shrimp, some scallops.
That's not pork or beef.
I'm just saying, I like seafood. I guess it's not gumbo. You can just give me a whole bushel of crabs. I'm good. But like, just to simply say, even our taste buds are different. Yeah. You know, we may not drink the same stuff. This woman drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I'm just saying, a lot of people drink it. My best friend drink coffee. My boy, my family, he drink coffee. And he be like, I can't talk to you, man, until I have my coffee.
Jamal Terrell. Shout out to you.
Yo, man.
Coffee
ain't nobody worry about your coffee. Drink your coffee in your Black Panther cup. No, but I'm saying, you better be drinking your coffee in your Faith, Love, and Dreams cup. And in the Emmy Melvin Films cup. Plug. All right, so, you know, at the end of the day, that's the problem. Yeah. And then the thing is about any relationship, and is this a win-win? And what people sometimes do is, because you can't meet my expectations, this isn't working. A lot of people get divorced because of that.
I know.
Because of their high expectations, and they call it irreconcilable differences, right? And it's not that your relationship, your marriage is really broken. There's no physical abuse, no verbal abuse, you're just not connecting. And the reason you're not connecting isn't because you can't. It's because because truly, have you exhausted all the possibilities?
Right.
And the truth is, no one's a mind reader. I'm not a Jedi. These are not the droids you're looking for. This is not the husband you thought you were going to get. I'm me, you know, and she's not the wife I thought I pictured myself. You know, honestly, she is the wife I pictured, because I'm a person without expectations like that, because
I'm not the wife. What?
That you thought you were going to get. Like, this is not the TV. This is not what I saw. She's not what I saw on television.
Okay.
You know, she is, listen, people didn't come, she did not come in a box in Walmart. And first of all, you know, wife in a Walmart anyway, but I'm just saying, she did not come in a box with a glass and said, no, batteries not included, da, 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 da. She's a human being who has a lot of flaws, just like I do. And sometimes for me, I don't even complain about most flaws. The only flaw I got that we talk about is the driving thing. But other than that, you know, I'm just being real. But she talk about my driving too. Yo, my wife sound like my mama. And I did not look to marry my mother. My mom said the car when my dad driving and tell him how to drive. I don't know if that's a woman thing, but I just be like, I'll just sit back and close my eyes and relax. My dad do the same thing.
They drive crazy. I mean,
I learned how to drive from my dad.
Yeah, but it's different when they're about to hit me
on my
side.
She sat in the car with my dad. How about, I now understand where you get it.
They drive crazy. So I see why his mom says the same exact thing. I don't need to be holding on for dear life for her if I'm gonna die.
She's not. We're gonna protect her. But see, the thing is, those expectations we discussed, whatever the core fears are, by building a relationship like we did in the very beginning, we talked, we discussed things, we saw how we respond to certain things. one of the first things as we became friends, I sat down, I talked about the marriage I was in previously, from a divorce and what I went through. She told me about her relationship and the hardship she's endured. Right. She wasn't. So, but see, you know what?
I've had some,
a relationship is not a marriage, but it's very similar because you give up bits and pieces of you to be with somebody, or you make sacrifices and you make changes to accommodate to somebody into your life. You're thinking it's hopefully something that's for a lifetime, but it's not always. And even the same thing with marriage. It's not even always a lifetime. But this is forever. You know what I'm saying?
Forever.
But before we get into the forever, ever, we'll take a minute for a pause. We'll be right back in a second.
Right back.
Hi, you're listening to and you're watching Faith, Love, and Dreams, the podcast.
Hi.
Foundation Building Together. I'm Michael Melvin.
And I'm Tiffany Melvin.
And we are the Melvins, yeah.
And we're talking about our episode 6.
The Perfect Spouse. How many of us have them?
The perfect spouse.
The ones we can depend on. The perfect spouse. How many of us have them? Hey,
we so corny.
We just messing with y'all because we foolish.
So we're actually just talking about expectations, and when you have a spouse that you feel are falling short of your expectations, as they sometimes will, how do you deal with that? And what do you do? I think the first thing that you need to do is accept them for who they are, because they're not perfect. You're not perfect, and have a conversation about one that is not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Controlling, manipulative,
judgmental,
telling them, commanding. Like all of that. Your spouse is.
I've been guilty of all of those before, just so you know.
Let's put it this way: you and your spouse are on the same team.
Yes.
And so, even our arguments or discussions or disagreements is not about winning.
Right.
It's about understanding. It's about gaining perspective on how I see the world and how she sees the world.
Because you can learn something from each person, like a different perspective. And we just have to remember that our spouse is not perfect, but they're perfect for us. Right?
Yeah, they're made for us. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like even a sport. We're on the same team. We're trying to win for the whole household, our family.
Yeah.
And we can't get caught up. And we both have the same expectations to win, but we may not have the exact same plans on how we're trying to win. And that's where the compromise and the discussion and the understanding comes into play, is having that talk, and then understanding I may be looking for her to play a position that currently she's not ready for, designed for in her mind. And I say it in her mind because that she's already made up, I'm good at this right here. I can do this. But I can tell you, like my wife, to me, their skills she has, she could pick up anything she wants, learn it, do it. And she puts her energy into it. And she's intelligent, and that was one of the big things about us getting together. I was like, hey, I need a woman that can read. I'm just telling you, like, and comprehend and figure it all out. Yeah. Not figure it all out, but get it together. No direction. Is it perfect? No. She has things. Sometimes she changes. Everybody changes direction. Yeah. Everybody has.
I'm a little flighty at times, y'all.
But she's goal oriented too. Yeah. And she's compassionate. She helps the family. She looks out for other people. She shares information. I'm a businessman. She a businesswoman, and we understand that about each other, but we bring something different to the table. And people have been around us, like, man, when the Melvins, when y'all start working together. Yeah, we know that when we start working together. See, the thing is, we just working together.
And that's a part of Faith, Love, and Dreams, building your foundation together. So knowing that your spouse isn't perfect, they're going to change and go through these different seasons of their life. And if they're not doing something or they don't know something, it's nothing. If I know something, I'm not going to withhold that from my husband. I'm not going to sit there and watch him do something wrong and not let him know, hey, babe, that's the wrong way. Let me show you this way. That's defeating the purpose. Like you said, you're a team. So there may be things that that person does that is not really good, but it's how you help them. It doesn't mean that they're not giving their best. It's like when you're taking a test. If you studied for the test and you make an A, great. If you didn't study for the test and you fail, that should be expected. But if you studied and gave the test all that you could, you may still got a C. Yeah, you still may not make an A. And if you don't, you just I would take the grade knowing that I did and gave it my all. And that's all you can ask for.
And it's
that
mindset.
Your spouse gives you your all.
That other thing is mindset. And let's talk about the dating mindset and the marriage mindset. And this is men and women. People look for the BBD, like the bigger, better deal. And so when you go into a relationship with somebody, and you're always saying, well, I could meet somebody better. I could have had somebody better. Just because you think they're better, they may not be the best for you. So, because my wife is the best for me.
You better believe it.
So, you know, and because think about this. Every day, one, she's beautiful. Everything's not built on looks, though, because I was raised as a kid. Beauty is fleeting.
I wouldn't know.
You got to have personality, and you have to be who you are, because these things all change. Like your physical appearance, all this stuff that we build up. I know people going to the gym, take care of your health. I think it's important. We're working on that now. But that shouldn't be the biggest thing, because that shouldn't be the biggest thing.
Minus the fat.
She's trying to show her muscles, you know. But for those who listening to the podcast, but that shouldn't be the biggest thing, because who you are, who you're becoming. The one thing about us is we read books. We like developing ourselves. We measure ourselves and who we are and how we're going to become and how we view the world. We have discussions all the time about what's going on in the world, what's going on in communities, how we can be involved in things, you know, mentoring. We were just talking about couples with couples, a couple that mentors us, you know, make sure we have two couples that kind of do that for us anyway. And the couples we walk with in life, that we travel on an even keeled level. And then the couples we see who are new that we can bring up. We're not the perfect, because we try to say that, hey, we're not perfect. I got my boys that I get on the phone with and talk. I don't badmouth my wife, but I tell them the reality of things. Like, oh, we had an argument about this. And they'd be like, yo, dude, first of all, you wrong. And so you got to have, and that's where you have a real people. They don't just agree with you, but they tell you the truth about you, because friends and family know you. And you're getting to know your spouse in the very beginning. You're still getting to know each other, because guess what? Every day,
something new about them all the time.
Every day you're getting something new, whether from old stuff, but every day you learn something.
And you learn, let me say, I don't remember who told me this, or if I read it somewhere, or if I saw it somewhere, but they said that you really don't know how imperfect you are until you get with someone.
Because they can show you who you are.
Yeah, they let you know, like, you know, you think that you're doing all this right. Well, that's not right either. That ain't
you
right
think
either.
you had it all
that
right.
Ain't right either.
You think using like 20 washer sheets to dry clothes was a good idea. You wasteful.
Let me tell you something.
We talk about this story a lot.
We gonna go back to this story for a little short minute. But when we first got married, within the first week, our very first argument, I mean, drop down arguing hard, was about dry sheets. And putting
the dishes in the dishwasher correctly.
Not correctly.
But that's, hold on. No. Correctly, because correct based upon your upbringing and your experience with your family, or how you ran your household. Yeah. Because we are two grown adults coming together. See, that's the thing. Imperfection. We're two grown adults who have lived life the way we have lived it as individuals. And we have survived, because we were surviving. You see? And in that survival, we made everything that we do the perfect way, because it worked for us.
Yeah, we did it the right way.
Right? And then
individually.
Then when we get together, we're forging a new household.
And I'm looking at him
building a new family.
Who are you talking to about these dry sheets?
And now you got something new. So in a sense, you got to actually let go of the old way you did things, or compromise and have an understanding, explain why, to each other. Maybe there's a good logical reason why you do the dishes like this, and maybe not. I mean, think about it. Some people just found out that that little tab on the can was a straw holder and you twist it. Other people like, it was just to open a can. And that was it. And they collect them. And
or like you said, it's your reasoning behind stuff. Because some of the times the reasonings that I had behind things, the way I did it, came from a single mom's perspective,
right.
One income household. So with my sons, I was like, okay, we're not going to be washing clothes every other day, every week. Whereas not that you did this, but it may not have mattered to you whenever you threw your clothes in a washer.
Because it's just me.
It mattered to me because I'm over a household with 2 other little human beings in there, and I have to watch the budget on certain things. So I'm like, okay, y'all have a lot of clothes. You have enough clothes for a minimum of 2 weeks. So we're going to wash once every 2 weeks, and you're going to wash that day. You have a wash day where everybody washes it that day. So we're not running the washing machine, running up a water bill. So I may have thought that that was the right way. And then when I get to combine my household, it's like, okay, he just washing willy-nilly whenever he.
Well, I ain't do that. I only wash my I wash my clothes every 2 weeks. Like on a Saturday is the day Saturday morning I get up, wash my clothes.
Yeah, but I'm saying in general.
Like, no, I'm just saying like everybody. But but what I'm saying, like, but it's funny because that we had similar, right? But then maybe we get up in the morning, we clean house at a certain time, or somebody does this differently, or maybe it's important to do this. Like some people I know, they clean the house one day. Every Saturday morning or Friday night, they clean the house, and they can do everything on the weekend. Some people I know clean the house every day. They take like a section of their home and they clean it. And the other person like, how you gonna leave that area dirty? What do you mean? I'll get to that tomorrow. It's not even Wednesday yet.
Or sometimes maybe like this is the day for all of the, we're going to do all of the bathrooms, or this is the day we're going to do a light clean. This is the day we're going to do a deep clean.
Yeah, for real. Because we got 4 floors and we're like, what floor is yours? This floor is yours. This floor is mine. This area is ours. And this area is, Right. So that's the reality. Yeah. But it's a compromise, and that having that, because we set the expectation now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We talked about it and we set the expectation.
And we know that even in setting the expectation, there's still things that we're going to find, and we're going to continue to find about our spouse that's not perfect.
Yeah, we get busy.
That's something that we have to deal with. And you just keep reminding yourself, you know what? They're not perfect. They're perfect for me. Like I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect for him. So no one
and
else
we're
has
perfect
to
together.
Yeah. So no one else has to understand that. But you do have to be compassionate towards your spouse and not,
empathetic, compassionate, joyful, laugh, even in your flaws and stuff. Shoot, we be cracking up. Like, remember that day you did that thing? And you're like, yeah, you stupid. Yeah. And then, but that's the thing. And I think you build off of that and get rid of, have expectations, but get rid of expectations being absolute. Yeah. That it absolutely has to be and go this way. Because
there are many ways to do something.
You married somebody and you're giving each other, you're adding advantage to each other and not taking advantage of each other. I always reiterate that.
And you married somebody different. Like, who wants to be married to someone that is exactly like themselves?
That
would be so boring.
Well, it depends.
It would be boring for me. I don't need somebody that's exactly like me because, honey, sometimes I'm all over the place. Okay, both of us don't need to be all over the place. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we all over the place in different stuff.
Yeah.
Too. See, and that's the thing. I think taking a personality test might be a cool thing for couples.
Might be a cool thing.
To see what kind of personality you have. Talk about the 5 love languages. There may be other love languages. It may not just be 5.
Right. I think the biggest thing is to know that no one's perfect, and don't hold people to a standard that you don't hold yourself to.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot of times.
Don't even hold them to a standard you hold yourself to, because everybody ain't born in your house. Yeah, that's the thing. I have 5 siblings. We all different. We have similarities, but we are all different.
One other sibling, so
and so you have to understand that. It's knowing that what personality and how things fit. That's in getting to know each other.
Yeah.
This really is, because every day you're going to get to know your spouse, and that's why I say it's so important to like the person you're with.
Yeah.
And you're going to love them. Love should be automatic. Because I'm always curious when people be like, I fell out of love with that person because we just didn't match up. What do you mean didn't match up? you're not perfect. Like I said, unless it's abusive or mental, physical disrespect or abuse, constant cheating or stuff like that. Those are things that's whatever the issues are,
Yeah,
you
we're not talking
determine them.
about,
We can't tell
those
you,
things
but
are definitely not perfect.
yeah, but we're talking about getting along, having expectations of how you do something. It's like even finances. We'll talk about that at a later time, but it's even finances. Somebody might be a spender, the other's a saver. You both might be savers. Nobody's spending. Everybody's holding on to money. And you're like, you gonna do this? You gonna do that?
But just recognize when they are doing the best that they can do. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between pushing someone to do more that's already doing the best that they can. And if you're a team, so if someone's giving you their best, work with them. Yep. If you see that there's a way that they can improve, encourage them, support them where they are, and so they could get to the next step. That's the main part about it. When we say spouses, how many of us have perfect spouses? That's exactly what we're talking about. Because if you see someone's giving their very best and you're still giving them a hard time about it, without being supportive and encouraging in a positive manner, positive reinforcement, then you become the imperfect spouse.
And you're actually already an imperfect spouse.
Yeah. Well, the truth
is, you're measuring them to a standard of you, and they're not you. And they're again, it's relationship. We in this to win. It's a win-win situation. My wife doesn't want me to suffer.
Win no matter what.
She wants me to do well. I want her to do well. We in this together. And she's her. I'm me. She's Tiffany. I'm Michael. Oh, this is love. Only if you can see this on the YouTube channel. Yeah. So if you're listening to the podcast, yes, you're missing something. But hey, do both. But look, at the end of the day, just know that your expectations are yours. Yeah. And own your expectations. Know that you need to discuss them. Need to discuss compromising. It's mutual. Number one, we are interdependent. Mm-hmm. Where I'm not dependent upon her. I'm not independent of her. I'm not codependent. I don't need to fix her. All I'm saying is we are interdependent. We have a mutual understanding that we are living and working together, and we came together as a married couple for the greater good to add to each other's lives and enjoy it together. And grow old, get gray. As you can see, the gray hairs on the video.
I don't have any gray hairs.
I won't tell you.
But we do
I'm gonna snitch later.
We want to thank you guys for joining us. This was just a small snippet of the perfect spouse. How many of us have them? And we hope that by listening to us today, that it causes you to reevaluate some things that in the way that you look at your spouse.
If you're currently married, if you're not married and you're looking to start dating at some point, just know that whoever you date is not going to be perfect. They're not going to match up to everything. There are some things that they are who they are from where their environment and upbringing. And if you are courting, you're getting to know each other still. Mm-hmm. And so as a courting couple, learn to respect and understand core fears, core values, all those different things that affect the person you're going to be with and impact your relationship so that you don't measure them to your thing. And then because, again, we also are coming with our past. So address that as well.
So thank you guys for watching and listening to us
on Faith, Love, and Dreams Foundation Building Together.
The podcast.
Oh, yeah. Catch us on wait. Oh. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe on the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment. Leave a comment on both, either way.
Leave us a comment on
we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and quite a few other places. But those are the top places, visit
Follow
those.
Us on Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah. Love you. Peace.